Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is April 18th, 2021. This is episode 275. Today we're looking at Serial from Terry Moore, yes. And this is issue 3 coming out from Abstract Studios. It comes in at $3.99, and as if you follow my channel at all, you know I am a huge Terry Moore fan. This cover depicts Zoe, who's in this one. She's been in many of his books, but she is, in this one, she's actually hunting down a serial killer. Now, she's had many, she's actually in her 30s, but something happened that stopped her from growing. She was possessed for a while, I know that, and actually died and was resuscitated or resurrected, I should say. So that might be the reason she has not grown. So she's in her 30s. This is a recommend, by the way. It is going to get the Indie Comics Jones good excavating seal of approval. And this cover that you see here is nothing that's depicted in the story. But we do get a nice feel for it. It's just kind of, he's offering her a lollipop, and she's got a balloon with a something attached to it. I don't know if it's a razor blade or what, but she's pretty street smart, and that's the whole key to this whole story so far. Like I said, she's trying to track down a serial killer. Okay. So we start out with this quote. When you hunt predators, the best camouflage is weakness. Now, I just want to mention that Terry Moore thought this issue, he'd only be selling about 10,000 copies of this issue, of these issues, a piece for each time he came out. The first issue, however, sold out immediately, so he did do a second printing on it. As you can see, this one's in red. The second printings actually are in like a darker color, or black or so. So if you see one with the black on there, that's a second printing. Just so you know, it's been doing pretty well. He did a second printing on the second issue as well, and I believe that sold out. So we're at the third issue now. He's doing about one a month. So this is a serial killer story. Starts out, we see Zoe's, one of her best friends from childhood, who's actually aged and grown up and gotten married, and she's dead, and the police are there investigating all the crime scene, basically. And one of the things that they note is the wedding ring's missing. The engagement ring's there, but the wedding ring's missing. Now, her husband has also been killed by the serial killer. He was actually pushed off a cliff, while she was killed by a pizza cutter. So now we get a shot of the killer visiting her mother in the nursing home, and her mother's just out of it totally. She doesn't respond to anything. And the daughter, the killer, I don't know, we don't know what her name is because she keeps changing it. She's a master disguise. Has brought 2 mementos for her. She does like glass blowing on her own, and she has put a button in one and a wedding ring in the other. And this is the husband and wife that she has killed, and she's presenting them as gifts. And you know that some serial killers like to have mementos of what they have done, just to remind them, to give them that feel of the thrill again. So the mom's just not even responding. She doesn't know what's going on. So she goes ahead and stacks them on 9 other mementos here. So I guess she's up to about 11 killings now. And in the meantime, the mom's distracted by a butterfly. The daughter sees the butterfly, catches it, gives it to her mother, but it's dead. So it's another like dead memento, I guess. And she storms off, not too happy, or maybe she's just determined. She's already knows what she's going to do next. In the meantime, Zoe has been staking, or I guess she's like staking out or stalking one of the employees at the pizza parlor where the husband lived, or worked, I should say. And she has apparently is being asked by the police officer. It's a woman police officer here. What's going? What more information about who this person or the people that work with the murdered man. So Zoe goes into a coffee shop and takes the last table. Basically, she watches these two women pay for their drinks because they're going to go through a little bit of questioning, and she waits till they see there's nowhere to sit, and she says, "Hey, I'm leaving. Would you guys like my table?" And little do they know that Zoe has placed a bug in the sugar packets. So he'll pick up the conversation, and she listens into the conversation. And she's interrupted for a bit by a man, but she tells him to get lost. And suddenly the conversation's over, and what she finds out is the only thing is that the person that they cannot find now, who's kind of disappeared, was into glass blowing. So that's the big clue here, I believe. So she goes back into the coffee shop to retrieve the bug, and she realizes that it's not there, and the police officer has the bug. So she takes off running, and she gets chased for a distance. She jumps in a car of an old man, just saying, "There's someone chasing me. Get me out of here." And he goes ahead and takes off and drives over to where her van is, and she gets in the van and takes off. So the police officer knows about Zoe now, but doesn't know what capacity what's going on with her, obviously. In the meantime, we've got this guy. He's driving the cliffs, and he sees a woman pulled over, and apparently she's got a flat tire, and he's just noticing the the shapeliness of this woman, and she's all cute, and she's got a tennis dress on. She's saying, "I was trying to change it, but the lug nuts went under the car, and I can't really change in my outfit." And she's doing everything she can to show off her body, and it turns out he is kind of a masher anyway, and she gets him to go under the car and drops the car on him. So at that point, you can see she's taking the sunglasses, and I guess that's the memento she's going to take next. And she jumps the fence and heads down into the bush, and that's where this story ends. So it's kind of short; it's only 19 pages, but it's very intriguing. All the little clues and the dialogue. He does a good. Terry Moore does a great job with dialogue. So this is a recommend, obviously. Let's take a look at some of the other things that Terry Moore's done. He's got Ever. That came out, I think, either at the end of last year or earlier this year. I can't remember. It was a 72-page graphic. It kind of had sort of a biblical theme to it a little bit. It was had to do with ancient texts and whatnot. So it was well done. I'm not enjoying it as much as I am this, though. I'm really liking Serial. And I don't know if I mentioned it. He thought Serial's only going to be 10 issues, but he's really loving how it's doing it. And since it's selling so well, it's actually selling beyond his expectations. He's talking about going to 15 issues on it now. So Strangers in Paradise is his classic, very classic. It's available in 3-book set for $180. But this is a hardcover edition, however. And this is one of my favorites is Echo. Really, really good sci-fi tale. How to Draw. We actually talked about How to Draw on this channel a few weeks ago, and I picked up the hardcover book for this, Motor Girl, that came out maybe 2 years ago now, and Rachel Rising, and this is the book I discovered Terry Moore on. It's a horror classic. It's very, very good. About 7 trade paperbacks. I think it's available in an omnibus now as well. So you are up to date on this. Let me just put the good excavating seal of approval, only given out by Indie Comics Jones. So thank you for stopping by and listening to my review. As always, please like, please subscribe, please leave comments, and we'll see you next time at the Temple of Tomes. As always, this is Indie Comics Jones bidding you adieu.